Unravelling the Vyne is a contemporary art exhibition running from June until December 2013. The exhibition features 10 artists who have been commissioned specifically for the property to make new work in response to its histories, and we hope bring the property to life. What we do is we commission artists specifically working with making skills to respond to the houses and different aspects of the house's histories, and what we hope is that these interventions give people a chance to stop and think about some of the complex and sometimes difficult histories that are involved in the National Trust properties. Some personal favourites, Sharon McElroy has done an amazing audio-visual piece, a film piece, which combines the 18th century when John Chute lived and owned at the house, and his experience of going to Venice when Venice was sort of like the Las Vegas of Europe, and what happened in Venice stayed in Venice, and it was a place where you could be whatever you wanted to be and do what you wanted to do before you came back into society. And she's combined the 18th century with the glam rock era. In the antechapel, Lisa Pettibone has made a beautiful glass piece that's based on the idea of the ruff, and she was interested in how the ruff separated the body from the head. Maria Rivens has worked upstairs cutting apart books which could have come from the library, but I hasten to say they didn't, and cut out the various histories of the vine, and they're just spilling all over the room, all over the table, and just kind of this explosion of stories coming out of the books and into the space. Charlie Winnie works with wood, and in the lounge he's made a huge piece called Two Dancers, working with oak and ash, and he steam bends the wood and creates shapes out of them to reflect the idea of movement. And Charlie was particularly interested in the room when it was used as a social space for dance.
My installation is a tree that I have based on imagery from the tapestry room. I absolutely fell in love with that room when first visiting the Vyne. We had to take into account logistics of getting it out of my studio and then into a van and recreating on site. So right from the beginning it was working out actual door measurements of sort of widths of how we would be able to get the piece in, and then constructing it in such a way that it could be taken apart and then re-put back together. So I had to create a main structure using wood and a wire mesh frame, and then all the branches and the leaves were recreated so that they could be slotted onto the main structure of the tree once on site and made in multiples off site in my studio. I reimagined a tree taking root in the tapestry room and wanted to then play with the height of the building, and so had the roots cascading down in the room below in the further drawing room, and they're spilling out of the fireplace, and they have a red satin fabric as though they've taken on the surrounding brocatelle wall hangings. So it was really an imaginary take on the tapestries.
Alec has carved 49 separate pomegranates from oak, which are installed under a rolled up rush mat at the end of the oak gallery. Alec's idea was that there are in the oak gallery Tudor panelling already, 49 pomegranates carved into the panelling, and what he wanted to do was remove those from the panelling and bring them down onto the floor to represent Catherine of Aragon's inability to provide Henry VIII with a son and heir.
Myself, I've worked with ceramics in this house, and I was interested in the relationship between John Chute, who lived here in the 18th century, and Horace Walpole, who's probably most famous for Strawberry Hill. And the two men were obsessed about their houses, and I've gathered together all of these objects that Horace is insisting John wants and John really isn't so keen on, and just let John gather them all together and shove them together and hide them behind the staircase. He kind of can't bring himself to get rid of them, but then again he can't really bring himself to live with them either. So I was really interested in how you start building up a relationship between two men that lived 250 years ago. Unravelling the Vyne is running from June until December 2013. It's your one chance to see the work in this amazing house, and we do hope you can come along.